So this is my Wolves versus Brighton Premier League preview. Saturday at Molineux. Can Wolves stop Brighton's Conference League hopes? We shall see. But an article came out on Sky Sports the other day about Jeff Shea, about this emergency meeting that him, Hobbs and various others had about changing the economics at Wolves and making everything positive, not negative. Vitor Pereira was on board. Basically, Jeff Shee's trying to take credit for Vitor Pereira turning it around. That's the way I read into it anyway. When we all know it's mainly Vitor Pereira's doing. But anyway, then it made me think, when Wolves fans and the mainstream or whatever, when they're discussing Wolves, they always try and say, and I've said it a lot over this past year when discussing Wolves and how they ran, we're always compared to Brighton, the self-sustain model, the sell to buy. And everyone looks at Brighton as this team that's done amazing. Their owner, Tony Bloom, who I know so well. Like, I've been aware of him for years. Outside of football and boxing, I'm a massive poker fan. Love poker. And I've been watching Tony Bloom play poker since, like, Poker After Dark back in the early 2000s, basically. And he's played in the World Series. He won a Poker Go event, Omaha event. Not so long back, I watched that. And basically, Tony Bloom's history, he does play poker. He's a professional gambler, dropped out of university, made a lot of money gambling. Then he set up like a betting syndicate company, and it turns over like £100 million a year, every year. Like, he's got absolutely genius people working for him, always make profit, betting tips company. So that just proves, if you put your head behind it, you can actually win at sports betting, believe it or not. But yeah, so then obviously he buys Brighton in 2009, gets them from down in the dumps, really, builds them a new stadium. And what I found really interesting, his journey, obviously he owns Brighton, he's Brighton's chairman. The difference between him and Jeff Shea is obviously Fosun own Wolves, but Jeff Shea is the chairman who Fosun appointed. But the journey is very similar. If you look at it, obviously everyone puts Brighton way ahead of what Fosun and Jeff Shea have done in terms of recruitment and things like that, which I agree with. But so when Fosun took over that first season, in 2015-16, wasn't it? Or 16-17, sorry. Brighton actually won. Well, they got second in the Championship that year and got back to the Premier League. Like, they got back to the top division. And that was the start of their journey, obviously coming down from... So it took them from 2009 to then to get to the Premier League. They then eventually get in the Europa League a few years ago and get knocked out against Roma in the knockout stages, and they've come sixth in the league. Their highest ever points tally, I think. It's so similar to Wolves. Obviously, the year after Brighton got promoted, Wolves then get promoted under Nuno. We then get Europa League football. Both played in Europa League once in the last decade, and we've both struggled a bit too. Like I think the first season Brighton in the Prem, they just about survived from 17th. I know Wolves had a bit of a better time of it, but then we've struggled recently, so that's very similar. And now, as we talk, we're 13th, they're 10th, they're just above us. Obviously, our season's improved a lot. And for Brighton standards, they're having a bit of a wobble. So it just shows, even though, like I've said, most people would put Tony Bloom and the way he's running Brighton way ahead of Wolves. I don't know why I'm giving Fosun and Jeff a bit of credit here. We're in a very similar situation, and we've got a very similar history in the last decade or so. If you look at it, yes, as I've said, their recruitment has been way better, and their profit and sustainability, how they do it, has been way better than us. They're so much more clever with how they spend their money and the transfers they get in and selling people for hundreds of millions. But we're not too far behind is what I'm trying to get at. And it just shows when you've got someone like Tony Bloom and people under you who know what they're doing, you can make the self-sustain model work. And that's something we've really got to sort out. And if this emergency meeting Jeff Shea had the other day, well, at the end of January, can kickstart that and get us the glory days back we had when Fosun first come in those first few years, I'm all ears. But at the end of the day, we have been in the Premier League a long time now with Fosun. We have rode our luck at times, and I think Jeff's incompetence as a football man really has nearly seen us go back down, despite having good squads over the years and good managers. I really hope that he can sort it out. So yeah, although people won't want to admit it, very similar. Anyway, on to the game. This is a Wolves v Brighton preview. Obviously, Wolves lose to Man City last time out. Brighton are on a bit of a horrible run. I think they've only won 1 in 5, looking at their form. Drew 1-1 with Newcastle last time out, struggling a bit, but they have still got that glimmer of hope of getting 8th place in the Conference League football, which is what they'll be aiming for. But I'd say we're favourites if you look at current form going into this. Obviously, we drew 2-2 in the reverse leg against Brighton. Tommy Doyle, that 4v1. He kept Gary O'Neill in the job a bit longer, if you think about it when you look back, because he was under pressure at the time. And yeah, we've been, well, we got battered, didn't we? If you think under O'Neill, one of O'Neill's first games, we got battered 4-1 at home to Matoma absolutely killed us that day. We've had a few successes over Brighton over the years. I remember beating them back in the day 1-0. When I think it was the season they went up, actually, the Fosun's first year. But yeah, going to be a tough game, but I'm very confident that we can do something here, because we showed in the 2-2 draw that we're capable of going toe-to-toe with Brighton. Now on to a starting 11 for Wolves. I think if Strand Larsen's fit, which at time of recording I assume he is, I haven't heard anything, I know he missed out against City, I would put him back in for Bellegarde and go with the trusted team, the best one that Vitor Pereira likes to do. Sarr, Doherty, Agbadou, Totti, Ait-Nouri, left wing back, Semedo, right wing back, the main men in middle, Andre and João Gomez, with Menezes, who gets loads of stick, I know, but again, I'd have him in there. Strand Larsen through the middle, Cunha out on the left. And there's been interesting news, hasn't there, with some players. Ait-Nouri might be signing a new deal, yet to be seen. He's been asked if he wants to sign a new contract. Semedo might stay. It's all up in the air, but we'll see how it goes. But that would be my starting team, and I know there's a lot of people on the bench. Again, I sound like a broken record. There are shouts of Rodrigo Gomez, Sarabia to come in. They keep coming off the bench. I know Juan come off the bench, Santi Bueno come off the bench. But I think Vitor knows his team, and he's not having our players on the beach, so we'll be playing the strongest team. They may come on and affect the game like they have been, but for me, keep it like that. As I said, I know Menezes gets a bit of stick, but keep him in there. He's been so effective. And I hope that is the team. Score prediction. I'm going to go with my head. I'm going to say 2-1 Wolves. 2-1 Wolves in my head. Finally, Menezes is going to get a goal. Finally. And I'll say Strand Larsen comes back from injury and gets a goal as well. With my heart, we're going to get the revenge. I know it's boring, so I always say this, but it's going to be 4-1 Wolves. They beat us 4-1 at Molineux last season. We're going to beat them 4-1. Menezes, Strand Larsen, Cunha and João Gomez with the goals. Anyway, please like the video. Please comment your thoughts on my preview and my little discussion about Tony Bloom and Jeff Shee to whet the appetite for this game. And yeah, please subscribe. As you know, I'm after 10,000 subscribers, and it really helps the channel getting close to that 10,000 mark, which I should hopefully get there by the end of the calendar year. Cheers everyone, and enjoy the game.